What is up, my people? Welcome to my video. So in today's video, I'm going to be giving you tips on how to get through your first night shift as an FY1. So the first thing I want to talk about is sleep. Sleep is crucial. And the reason for that is because when you're going to your night shift, or when you're doing your night shift, you're already going to be exhausted. It's the middle of the night, you're going to feel tired. So the most important thing you can do for yourself is to try and optimize your sleep and your rest as much as possible before your shift. So the way I like to do it is, for example, if I have a night shift on Monday and it starts at 8 p.m. and I need to leave the house by 7 p.m. This is what I do. On Sunday, I'd go to bed around 11 p.m. and sleep until 8 a.m. on Monday morning. So I've had 9 hours solid rest there. Then on Monday from 8 a.m. till, so I need to leave at 7 p.m. So 3 p.m. I can do whatever I need to do. Running errands, going to the gym, meeting up with friends, whatever it is, that's the window for that. 3 p.m. till 5 p.m. I want you to have a nap. And this is crucial. I'll explain why in a second. After your nap, you have 2 hours to leave the house. So from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. I like to have a shower and have dinner. So I know 2 hours is plenty of time to have a shower and eat dinner, but I like to take my time and relax so that I'm going to my shift pretty chill. The reason why this nap is important is because some people have a good night's rest on Sunday. They go through the whole day doing what they want to do and then go straight to their night shift. So at the start, they might feel fine, but as the shift goes on, especially if it's a busy shift, you're going to feel really exhausted. You're going to start to feel like you're going to crash. So this 2 hour nap here is a game changer. When you have a 2 hour nap here, you're probably going to wake up feeling a bit sluggish, and that's completely normal. I usually feel like that as well. But after you've had a shower, you've had some food, you go to your shift feeling enthusiastic, energetic, and you're ready to start your shift. And that's the best feeling to have before a long night shift ahead. So sleep is number one, most crucial thing. The second thing I want to talk about is fuel. And by fuel, I mean your nutrition, the meals that you eat, whether it's before, during, and after your shift. But the most important meal you're going to have is your dinner, that meal before you go to your shift. So for dinner, I've done loads of night shifts and I've experimented with loads of different diets. And this is the most effective diet for me. Give it a go and see how it is for yourself. But hear me out. The first thing is, for that dinner, make sure that it's got high protein. That's one thing. In terms of fats, I'm not too bothered. Say moderate fats. The third thing, and this is the most crucial bit, number 3, low carbs. This is crucial. If you go to a night shift after having lots of carbs, and I've been that guy, I've gone to my night shift after having a big bowl of pasta and I've felt sluggish, I've had brain fog, I didn't want to even do any work at all. It made me so tired, and it's possibly the worst thing you can eat before a night shift. My advice is have something high in protein. Even if it's high in fats, it's fine. But make sure you minimize your carbs. The reason I say this is because when you have a heavy carb meal, your insulin spikes and then it crashes. And when it crashes, you feel awful. Trust me, I've been there. So this is the dinner that I suggest. So an example, high protein steak or chicken, any kind of meat. I have avocado, and then I have a small amount of rice or pasta. Key word being small amount. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with having a bit of carbs, but just make sure it's a small amount. So this is my go-to meal for dinner. So I know what you're gonna say. I can't eat like a caveman. This meal is awful. It's not gonna be tasty. And you're absolutely right. It's not the most tasty meal. But if you eat this meal, just experiment for yourself and go to your night shift, I guarantee you're gonna walk in sharp. You're not gonna have any brain fog. You're gonna be enthusiastic. Your energy levels are gonna be high. Trust me. So this is the meal that I'm suggesting for you. Whether you wanna follow it, it's up to you. Now, that's your dinner. So you eat that and then you go to your shift. Me personally, during my shift, I don't eat at all. And the reason for that is because I feel like once I eat, my insulin goes up, and then when it goes back down, cravings start, and then I feel like eating throughout my whole shift. So to avoid that, I've got into this habit of not eating at all during my night shift, and it works well for me. Was it easy? No. At the start, the first couple shifts, when I was getting into this routine, it was difficult. But after 2 or 3 night shifts, it became easy. My body got used to it. So during my shift, I don't eat. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't eat, but I'm just telling you what works for me. So I say no food, and I just sip water throughout the shift, and that keeps me going. Now, so before your shift, you've eaten like a caveman. During your shift, you haven't eaten at all. Now, after your shift, this is where I see it as delayed gratification, okay? You get to eat whatever you want. Going back to the example that I said, I finished my Monday night shift on Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. So what I usually do is after handover, go home, have a shower, and then I eat before I go to sleep. Now this meal is the delayed gratification meal. Before my night shift, I ate like a caveman. During my night shift, I barely ate, I was sipping water. I worked hard. Now I reward myself with a really enjoyable meal. It can be whatever you want. Big bowl of pasta, egg fried rice, Wingstop, KFC, whatever you want, you eat that here. And the reason why is because you've done your hard work. Now you have no responsibilities apart from going to bed. You just have to sleep. And if anything, a high carb meal is gonna knock you out and you're gonna sleep like a baby. Before you actually start your night shift, you'll be going to handover. So for those of you who don't know, handover is essentially where the day team doctors and the night team doctors sit in a room together and they discuss the patients. The first piece of advice that I can give you as an FY1 is to take a piece of paper and pen. I don't care how good your memory is. I know as a medical student or an F1, your memory is probably quite good, but regardless, I want you to take a piece of paper and pen because you're bound to forget something. Especially if it's been a busy day, there'll be lots of jobs for you to do. So that's the first thing. Don't use your phone. Privacy, confidentiality problems, breaching that, whatnot. So make sure you take a piece of paper and pen. When you're taking down information, just put the patient's initials, their hospital number, and their location, followed by the jobs you need to do. So I like to put a box and then say the bloods, for example, or chest x-ray. This is how I like to lay it out. Now, during handover, you have to remember that the day team doctors have just finished their 12-hour shift. They're going to be exhausted, so you need to be considerate of them. Okay, they might forget information, they might not tell you everything you need to know. And it's your job as someone who's come to the shift with a fresh mind to ask all the necessary questions. So for example, if you use this, if they just said, this is the patient's initials, the hospital number, they're in ward 6, can you chase the bloods and the chest x-ray for me? Some F1s will be like, okay, sure, and then carry on to the next patient. I want you to be inquisitive. Just say, what are you querying for this patient? What are you concerned about? They might say, oh, it's a septic patient. We're worried about possible pneumonia. Right, this next question you ask is bloods. What bloods have you sent off? What are you concerned about? Is it the CRP white cell? Their red blood cell count? Whatever it is, find out and put that under your job. Chest x-ray, be inquisitive. Has the chest x-ray been requested, or do you want me to request it and follow it up as well? Right? It's important for you to know, because sometimes you might be sitting there at 3 a.m. checking the patient's details on the system to see whether the chest x-ray report is back, and it's still not back. But the real issue is because the request form wasn't put in the first place. So this is why, for you to save time and for the patient care to be more efficient, you need to ask all these questions when you're handing or having information handed over to you. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, sometimes during handover, the discussion is mainly between the two registrars, and they'll be talking about the unwell patients. Most F1s in this situation, they allow their mind to just wander, they get distracted, they might go on their phone. This is not what you should do. In that situation, I want you to note down the information of the unwell patients that they're discussing, because I guarantee you, at some point in the night, a nurse is going to bleep you about that unwell patient, and you need to know about that patient. You need to know what location they're in, what the patient's name is, what you're treating them for. You need to have some kind of information. So during handover, make sure you are paying attention to the discussions between the registrars, and you're noting down their information on your piece of paper as well. The third thing that I want to talk about is, and this is not something that most people would advise you about during handover, but I think it's really important, is to be friendly. Working as an FY1 or a doctor is about teamwork. You need to be friendly with your team. The SHO and registrar that you're going to be working with during the night, you're probably going to work with them for the next few nights as well. So build a rapport with them. Go and introduce yourself. Say, hi, my name is so-and-so. I'm the FY1 that's working on the night. What's your name? Are you the SHO? Get to know them and build a rapport with them, and you can work together as a team. When you build a rapport with them, you won't feel as overwhelmed when you come across hurdles during the night shift. You have people that you can go to and ask for help. So it's really important that you develop your people skills. Be friendly. You're not Superman. You're not just trying to get jobs done by yourself. Because if you're trying to do that, I guarantee you it's going to be a very long, exhausting night shift for you. Now let's talk about the night shift itself. Once you've finished handover, you've got your piece of paper with patient information, the jobs you need to do. Don't just run off to start clerking or run off to the wards to start doing jobs. I want you to spend a few minutes, right? Even if it's 5-10 minutes in the room or in the doctor's office after informing your seniors. And I want you to prioritize your jobs. This is crucial to time management. So go through your list, and when you have your boxes, so if you have bloods, chest x-ray, whatever it is, I want you to number it. Number it in terms of urgency. Because if you have a cannula that's due tomorrow for a scan, that's not really at the top of your priority list. Whereas a patient that's snoozing really high and is septic, that is. So it's really important that you learn how to prioritize your jobs. That's the first thing. It literally takes you 5-10 minutes to do at the start of your shift, but it will make your shift a lot smoother. My second piece of advice is teamwork. Like I said earlier, you're not doing this alone. You've got a team. You've got the SHO and the registrar. Now, if in the rare circumstance where you've done most of your urgent jobs, you haven't got that many jobs left to do, and your shift is going quite smoothly, my advice is go up to the SHO and ask them if they need any help with any urgent jobs. The reason you're doing this is not because it's transactional. You're not doing this because you're helping them so that one day, if you're stuck, they can help you. No, that's not the reason why you're doing it. The reason why you're doing it is because during the night shift, or any shift for that matter, you're working as a team, and the priority is the patient. If you've had a smooth shift, and at the end of it, the SHO and the registrar are exhausted, they're overwhelmed, right? And they're handing over tons of jobs to the day team. What's the point? If anything, it's super selfish to do that. So my advice is, if you ever have the opportunity to, try and help your team. And teamwork is crucial. My next piece of advice is to be professional and polite. In general, but what I mean in this situation is when you're dealing with your team. Sometimes you might get your registrar that is asking you to do a job. There's two types of people. I call it, one, the yes man. They just say yes to everything because they don't want to upset their registrar. They say, yes, sure, but they've got a million other urgent jobs that they need to do. And in the end, they're going to burn out and feel exhausted. So that's one type of person. The other type of person is the no, sorry, I'm busy. Or no, I've got too many jobs. Which is basically a palm in the face for the registrar. Both methods are wrong. Don't be either one of these people. And this is what I mean about having people skills. You need to know how to communicate in a professional, polite way. So if you've got a list of urgent jobs to do, the registrar has asked you to do a job as well. What I would do in that situation is go up to the registrar and say, I've got these jobs to do that are relatively urgent. I also want to do the job that you've asked me to do. Could you advise me on how I can prioritize these jobs so that I get all the jobs done? I guarantee you, if you speak in that manner, the registrar will respect you highly because one, you've not just palmed them off by saying no, but you've also shown some level of self-respect where you're considering the jobs that you have to do as well. In that situation, once you've asked the registrar to help you prioritize the jobs, the registrar will look through the jobs and be like, don't worry about that job, leave it to me, I'll get that done. And what does that mean? It's going back to teamwork. See how crucial it is for you to communicate and work together as a team. Deal with it in a professional, polite manner. Your first night shift is not about knowing everything. It's about your ability to be calm and think logically to solve problems, and at the same time to work well with your team. You have the knowledge, but now it's time that you trust your system. Stay confident, stay chill. You got this.